right. So I went viral, I guess. I don't know. I have over 50,000 views on one of my reels. And it was all because I said that I didn't want my daughter I didn't want my ex husband at my daughter's graduation. Now, let me tell you something. So, number one, I just was sharing my regular everyday life. So, that's number one. Um, and I had no idea that people would feel so passionately about it. I really didn't. And certainly, I didn't think that people would disagree with my point of view. I did not understand the patriarchy is real. Ooh, wait, the people got bothered, triggered, all kinds of things. And here's the great thing for me is that I recognize there was a lot of projection going on in those comments. And it's not funny, right? So let me just say that it's not funny. There are people that are really hurting. What was apparent was that people have parental wounds that they have yet to address. But let me give you the big reveal. Ta-da! He came, right? So dad came to the graduation, and with dad coming to the graduation, some other things took place, and I need to address that. So I put up a picture of a text message that my ex husband had with my daughter. And there was so much going on in that moment that I was trying to get my bearings, number one, but also to remain safe. So I want to address, so I'm going to address that. So I'm trying to remain safe. What I have now put together, all together in totality, is what happened for that day. During that day, my ex-husband let my daughter, and he went to my daughter's graduation. He went to her apartment before graduation. So he did see her before graduation to let her know he was there and that he would be there. He did that. He saw her friends saw her. So that happened. Um, I believe that walking into the graduation where because he was parked 4 cars from our car. My partner dropped me off and I waited in line and he went to go park with our youngest daughter. And that is not my partner and I as young as my ex-husband. I have 2 children, 2 biological children with my ex-husband, 2 girls. So our oldest one was graduating. We have a 17-year-old. The 17-year-old went with my partner. For all intents and purposes, you can call him her stepdad. So she wanted to go with her stepdad. So they walked in together. For my ex-husband to have parked 4 cars from our car, he had to have spotted my partner. Why do I now know this? Because my partner said he slowed up. He met somebody. He was talking to this individual. They were walking slow. He stopped to tie his shoe. That gave my ex time to locate, and he could know that it was my partner because my partner had my daughter with him. So now the graduation happens. It's a wonderful graduation. It was so fulfilling to my heart. I am forever grateful. It was a blessing. And it wasn't just her day. Yes, we were celebrating her, but it was a day of family so that we could come together. It was about our village, that we could come together and we could celebrate someone in our village and hold her up. But she certainly made it there because of the people that were in the village. Okay, great. So we got that clear. At least you understand my frame of mind. After graduation, everybody walked out. There were pictures to take. So the whole family, there were 11 of us. We took pictures, smile for the camera, all the things. Then my daughter is a Delta. She went to go do her Delta thing. They went to go sing the hymnals and throw up the gang signs. And they did that. And then the girls were hugging because who knows when they're going to see each other again, right? So this is lovely, wonderful. And then we take more pictures. So we are kind of the last of the people walking out. So the picture that I posted was my ex-husband was behind me at some point. He was behind us. The problem with that picture and that he took that picture, not that he took a picture of me, my ex-husband, me, my partner, and my daughter, right? When he just came to see about his daughter, supposedly his daughter, it's the time. Why did he wait unless he was trying to cause a scene? So we get in the car and I never know. Graduation's over. So I don't know if my ex-husband has made it to graduation or not at this point. So I see him walk past me and I go, "Oh, I think that's his brother." So my partner says, "So then he is here. He did come." And so I realize it's my ex. My daughter says, "Yeah, they texted me." At least I think that's what she says to me from behind. She's sitting behind me. And she says, I think it's my oldest daughter and her friends. So everybody was concerned about whether or not I was going to hold it together or whether or not I was going to act up. So I promised I would not act up and everything would be well. But when I saw my ex-husband, I didn't know if my daughter was like going to spring him on me because maybe she does want him at the graduation. So I need to be safe and I need to take care of myself. And so I call her, "Hey, Judy, is daddy coming to the graduation dinner?" She said, "No." So I get off the phone with her and my younger daughter says, "No, dad texted me." I went, "Dad texted you?" So she goes, "Yeah." I go, "Let me see." And it's that her father has taken a picture of us from behind. That is jarring. But when I see him, I track him. So I see his car and where he is. He still has not left. We're waiting because now I'm processing in real time a lot of things that are going on. My partner needs something from me. I can't give it to him because I'm so flustered about all that's going on. And part of that is this: you were behind me and you snapped a picture unprovoked. And it wasn't until our daughter reached out and said, "Hey, dad, are you here?" Because mom said she saw you. So she was confirming that it was you. And that's when you go, "Yes, and here's proof of the picture." That's troubling. You were in eyesight of your daughter and you didn't reach out to her. And for all the people about, well, he can't win for losing. He just came and he didn't want to be a problem. No, he wanted to be a problem because to snap a picture of me from behind is a problem. That's A. B, to not acknowledge your daughter is a problem. If you know that you are not wanted at the graduation and you come anyway, that is an act of provocation. You are looking for a problem. That is, ain't nobody gonna tell me what to do. I do what I want to do, and that's just that. And you got it. But you had to wait around in order to catch me and be behind me. So it wasn't about coming to graduation to see your daughter and leave and not have cause a problem. You came to the graduation, you waited to ensure that you would be seen, trying to be seen, and then wait for a reaction because I then watched him. The other part that we're not talking about is, and some people have called that behavior weird. It's weird. And everybody's trying to turn themselves in and out to not call it what it is. That is harm. And that's what it looks like. This is someone who I speculate stalked me when we were together. This is someone who I speculate, allegedly, I'm saying, um, stalked me in my emails, would try and break into my email constantly for years. That happened. So for someone to take a picture behind me, if it was about his daughter, why not just take the picture of your daughter? That proves that you were there. Take a picture. You went to our daughter's apartment before graduation. So take the picture. She has proof. She says, "Yeah, I saw daddy." So that's fine. So that's A, that's all of that. So all of those things were not done. Instead, a picture was taken of me from behind with me, my man, and our daughter. So what is the message sent to our younger daughter? That dad'll come someplace and not acknowledge you and not let you know that he's there until you ask him because your mother has spotted him. And then he says, "Oh, yeah, I am here." Now he's 4 cars away. So at that point, and he knows that I now know because I saw him. That was what she texted. Mom said she saw you. He walked, he crossed the hood of my car. So that's how I saw him. That is purposeful. There were plenty of other places for him to walk. He could have walked over and walked around to get to his car. So this is not someone who was not trying to be seen and to provoke me. So all of that is, and so when I said, "Now ain't this some bitch shit?" In my mind, I was throwing that up to my friends because I'm not used to so many people seeing my posts. I had no idea that what was going to happen happened. So that I come from a small town, and that was really about sending the alarm that there is trouble afoot. And there is trouble afoot. And some of that is about holding him accountable for very bad behavior. Because that is very bad. That is very bad behavior, what took place to snap that picture again with a history of, in my opinion, stalking me. And the things and the people that know what that story is. And that ain't for me to have to go and share. But that's what that was. That is harm to women. And I think that some of the issue that people are having about this conversation that I'm having is it's that we don't want to acknowledge women, um and that they can hurt men. I think that at the crux of this is that he is hurt. I think that anger is is a secondary emotion. Something has to happen first. I don't know if he's disappointed. I don't know if he's frustrated. I don't know if he's shocked. I don't know what it is that caused him to reach this level of engagement. See, the thing where everybody talking about, let's just, that's her father and he should be there. He pays child support, so he should be there. You all want me to teach my daughter that you can do nothing to ensure that you will make it to your desired destination. But as long as the title is there, then you should allow them into your life. So I'll tell you, I did that. I went back and I looked 4 years ago at her high school graduation. And you know what? We smiled and we pretended and we took the pictures for the high school graduation. And also, if I'm going to be honest, here's the truth. My mother taught me to smile, right? It's your father, smile. My father had caused me harm. Shit, my mother had caused me harm. So my whole life, I've been pretending and smiling for the camera. I don't want to smile for the camera. I don't want to stand here. I'm uncomfortable, but I did it because it's the title and because that's what we were taught. Like I said, I'm a woman of a particular age. We were taught that it is okay for people to cause harm and that you act like everything is all right. And I'm teaching my daughter in real time that that's not happening. So some people, right? Then there became the conversation, well, she's an adult, so she should learn on her own. What? She just graduated from college, so she was just in a classroom learning. What are you talking about? And so now, as her mother, I'm not going to teach her about real life. What are we talking about? Right? And then, oh, that's her father. So you want me to teach my daughter to accept bare minimum effort and then reward that so that she could do that with her future husband? Well, guess what? Look at how that worked. I did it. I was taught to do it and I did it. And now I'm saying, yeah, no, I'm not going to teach my daughter that. I'm going to teach my daughter that people have to show up and they have to be consistent and they have to give the appropriate standard of care. They got to see about you. See, we're not going to talk about the fact that my kids didn't see their father for Christmas and he didn't check for them and they didn't check for him. Or for high school graduation, he was in the pictures, But when it came time to celebrate, he didn't come to her college, he didn't come to her high school graduation party that I threw and I paid for and I offered the invite. He went to Chili's. And the reason why he was at the high school graduation is because he's a teacher and he taught at her school. So he was there by default. But he gave her $100 and that was it. When the time came, even for going to school, okay, well, these are the things that we need. You agreed to half. You don't have to put in your half because he didn't put in his half. And so then the comments were, "You're a mother. That's what you're supposed to do." Oh, I know. I got a question right here. Call on me, Sherelle. Oh, thank you for calling on me. What then does her father have to do? So the internet would like for me to be comfortable with him showing up because he's her father. No, no, I'm teaching her that no, we don't have to do that. We don't have to perform. See, when you allow people to come into your space and they get to peacock and they get to be a fraud and a liar, then that is asking everyone else to participate in the fraud and in the lie. Why would I teach my kid that? For what? Who does that benefit? So that she could look back on the day and go, "Oh, my dad was there." The real truth is what is hurting some of y'all is that you wish that your parents had made some different choices and you wish at some point that they had chose you. But let me tell you something, them not choosing you is not about you. It was always about them. And that's the truth and that's the real hard part that people are having trouble sitting with. And I get it. Kids are egocentric. And so I'll give you my story. My father was inconsistent in my life from the beginning. My earliest memories of life happened to be around 4 and 5. I remember some things from 4, some things from 5. And there was chaos happening in my house. Hold between my mother and my father. They were not supposed to be together. And just to add context so that we could get it out of the way, my father, I later learned in my life a couple of years ago, is not my bio dad. So there's that. So on the one hand, he wasn't showing up consistently. He was causing harm. He was paying child support. Um, and that was all that he was doing. And he gave me those messages as well. When I asked my mom, "Mom, can I have?" She go ask your father. I go ask my father. He says, "Well, ask your mother because I pay child support." And so we've later had conversations, and my father said, "Because I knew your mother she was gonna handle it. I didn't have to." So my father was able to play chicken with his responsibilities for me because he knew that my mother was always going to show up and take care. And he did the same thing with my brothers. I have 2 little brothers, and he did the same thing, and he was inconsistent in their lives. And now, as we Monday morning quarterback, he says, well, and as my father was giving me advice for how to deal with my ex-husband, he said, listen, when it got to be too much and all that craziness, I just walked away. I said, yeah, but when you walked away, you dropped me. And he said, no, I didn't. I made sure that grandma was over there taking care of you, which put something completely different on the relationship that I knew with my grandmother because it caused me to go, were you only over here because daddy sent you? And then I can recognize times and I know that my grandmother loves me to smithereens. I know that. But she loved her son more and she's going to take the side of her son. And so my mother, having difficulty in her relationship with her own mother, found safety in my father's mother, and they were 2 peas in a pod. It was my grandmother and my mother that raised me. That's what it was. My mother was the disciplinarian, and she was the one that worked, and my grandma was the nurturer. And she was my soft place. She was my safe place. So to have my father tell me, well, I sent my mother over there, made me call into question why she was over here. And then I can recall times when somebody needed to choose between right and wrong and hold my dad accountable for his wrong, and he did not. And she sided with my dad. And listen, do not cry for me, Argentina. I am fine. But what I am telling you is what it looks like to smile for the camera. I'm telling you what it looks like to accept subpar behavior. I'm telling you that when my father wasn't around and being a child who is egocentric, meaning as children, we look at ourselves and that's how we try to explain the world because we don't have the ability for introspection and reflection at that age. We cannot see the forest from the trees. We are making meaning of our lives. And so from a very early age, I said, something must be wrong with me because my dad isn't around. And some of us don't realize that we carry that wound. It took me a lot of years in therapy. And I would go to my therapist. And so she'd say, like, so who do you have that's safe? And I go, I don't know. That I felt 100% safe with. Oh, I don't know. I don't have that. I'm safe for me. And it took me a very long time to understand this feeling of not good enough because that was the theme throughout my life. I wasn't good enough. So I did all these different things because I didn't feel good enough. I married the first man that chose me with 2 kids. And he very much, I believe, he thinks that he picked me up from the single mama orphanage. He was like, "Oh, a young single mom, look at her. She got 2 kids. I'll take that one, Alex." And whatever it is, he told himself that he made me, that he saved me, that whatever it is, that is the story that he has. So when I left him, I think that he told himself, how dare she leave me? Does she know who I am? And I left thinking on very good terms. I tried really hard. So, ladies, let me also tell you what it looks like when you are trying to keep the peace and when you're trying to when you're letting guilt, because I didn't want to leave him. He said that he loved me and he was hurting, but it just didn't feel good. And so I left alimony on the table. So I could have gotten another additional $600 a month on top of what I was already getting. And so when I say that to him, I go, whoa, 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 whoa. Why are you over here, throwing around, you pay child support? Remember, I was nice and I didn't take all that was owed to me. I had it dead to rights, but I was trying to be the bigger person. And so he then, in retrospect, says, "Huh, I don't know where you were going to get it from. Nigga, I was going to get it from the same place that I got that child support. The fuck is you talking about? Right?" And now today, in hindsight, all that being nice shit, I wish I wasn't, because he wasn't nice to me, right? So all that, just let her take the pictures. Just let him have the day. If you don't ensure that this day would come, why the fuck do you want to come and celebrate it? Answer me that. If you remove the title, why do you want to be here? When money was needed, when help was needed, you chose not to give it. So why you want to come? Unless the motive really ain't about coming to see your daughter. And now, right? I divorced him so that he could go on and have the things. Imagine what that wife must be thinking, that he is out here behaving in this manner about little old me. Who am I? Nobody. He picked me up from the single mother orphanage. So who am I? Nobody. What he told me when we had, and I have the dates, we had this fight in August of 2022. 2022 was a big year for me, a lot of firsts in 2022. And so in that conversation, he told me we had a fight. I was at work and my new job, and I was losing my shit. People heard outside of my office. And so he said, "You ain't gonna find no another nigga to take care of 2 kids that ain't his." And so I had to ask the question, "Ooh, you mean like the one I got now?" Oh, and trust, the one I got now shows up for those girls. So let me tell you, me and him almost didn't make it, right? And yet, if he and I had broken up, let me tell you who was going to be at that graduation. He was sitting next to me or away from me, whatever. He deserved to be there. Whatever was asked of him, he did. And he didn't say, "Oh, but I pay child support," because he don't have to. These ain't his kids. And whenever she called without me, he answered the call. He dealt with flat tires. He dealt with car accidents. He helped pay for half her car. So that's the thing. And for everybody talking about, "Oh, you just bitter," let me tell you something, okay? Yes, that ex-husband of mine pays a substantial amount of child support. Let me get the number for you. I think last time I checked, it's something like $20,000 a year. But let's do the math. Let's get this out. We'll get it. Hold on. It is $19,200. That is what he pays in child support a year. And what he was paying for 2, he is currently paying for just 1. So now you can assess his income. Don't care. And I made six figures on my own. And I got a boyfriend that gives me a very hefty allowance. I have a credit card that I get to swipe however I feel like it. And you know what? All that combined still wasn't enough. Now, I don't know if you want to blame Biden's economy, Trump's economy. I don't get good goddamn whose economy you want to blame. It ain't enough. And if you feel like that's enough for you, kudos to you. But it is not enough for me. And I'm not going to shrink. I'm not going to feel no type of way about it. I need more. Please and thank you. And until I get more, I will be here talking about whatever it is I feel like I want to talk about. But however, let's get clear. Harm was done. Provocation was made. And the truth is, he threw a rock and hit his hands. And then where I come from, that's some bitch shit. Say it with your chest, like I'm saying it with my chest. Now, if it's just about the kids, right? There are other posts that I share where he didn't have 12 fucking dollars. And it's not that he don't got $12. That ain't the point. The point is that he wouldn't go find $12. So you mean to tell me you know that your kid has a field trip and it requires $12 and you ain't gonna go no place else, but you gonna come to the baby mama? You taking care of me, right? So if you taking care of me and you providing for all these kids and you ain't got $12, why would you think I would have $12? See, if Johnny had 5 apples, what are we talking about here? It don't work both ways. It gotta work one way, and that's gotta be the way. And that's just that. So, and then what happens if he goes, I ain't got it? Because you know what else? I got two other baby daddies that love to throw their hands in the air when it was time. And you know what they said? I ain't got it. So nobody never fucking got it. What's supposed to happen to the kids? If y'all ain't got it and I'm asking for help to go find it, then what's supposed to happen to the kids? And so again, oh, you're a mother. And so what about the father? And this whole idea of I pay child support. Okay, to say that you pay child support and that absolves you from everything else. So it only then, this is my question, it only then takes 17 to 23% of your income to care for children? Because if that's the case, I did as well. When I go to work, I work. And I wanted a better life for my kids. So I went to school because they said, you got to do that. You got to go to school because that's going to ensure that you have a good life. Okay. So I did that. So tell me, how does someone paying child support say it's enough? Now, let me give you a little, and you know what he paid in child support. So again, I don't got no problems with what y'all think I should have. And that's for you to fight about amongst yourselves. I don't really give a shit, right? But here's the part. So I had someone call me. They said, girl, keep doing what you're doing because, you know, the way the comments eating my ass up, let me know that I'm wrong, which again, hilarious. So she said, child, my baby daddy paid $23 a week for child support. And then our daughter's 21st birthday was approaching. And he said with his chest to me, you know, when her birthday come, you know, that all stops for $23, not even $100 a month. And you want me to what I'm supposed to do? What I'm supposed to say to that? And so when he said, when the daughter, if the daughter calls and says, hey dad, can I have, he goes, I pay child support. If you don't go to fuck on right now, like right fucking now, please, please, please. And here's the other part. Let me also get into this. Why men, hello, I'm talking to y'all, and some women, let's go there. Why is child support why is that enough for a parent to give to their children? I'm wondering. How come? How come that's enough? Just that alone. You can't even, and it ain't always about money, right? So recently I asked him, hey, can you take our child to therapy? She's struggling a bit. The little one that he didn't bother to speak to when he saw her. Can you take her to therapy? I'm going to be out of town next week. Oh, I can't. I got practice. So it's okay for him to put his job before his child. You can't even make any plans. So I said, well, ask daddy if he can get his wife, his brother, or his best friend to do it because they've done it other times. So can dad ask them? So she asked, Dad said, I'll get back to you. What's there to get back to? But the responsibility of mom, I'm supposed to be the one that says, don't worry, I got it. Don't worry, your father could be a piece of shit. Don't worry, your father pays child support and gives you the bare minimum, but that's all you gotta accept. Are you out of your I know y'all are out of your minds. And let me say, I'm gonna stop. You're not out of your minds. You just haven't had somebody model what boundaries look like. That there can be love. I don't want my daughter to not love her father. I want her to love her father down. I would love for her father to show his love in a very different way, but hey, I don't have control over that. And so the little one, just so everyone knows, still goes to her father's house every other weekend. So it's not that she don't go to her father's house. So there is relationship. But I could tell you when there's a decision to be made on her own about who she'd prefer and the safety and who she feels like she can depend on, well, that's her mother. And there are situations that that has been proven. But I don't this isn't about proving to the internet about you know my worth, whatever. I'm just giving context, but more importantly, what I'm trying to teach in real time is when people are in danger, when women are in danger, and you have to call it what it is. Iyanla says you got to call a thing a thing, and for him to take a picture like that of me is problematic, and that was a provocation, and that's really what I want to get to. And if you think that that is safe behavior, then please let the people around you know that. And women, I'm going to tell you that if a man thinks that that behavior is okay, you should run from him. He is not safe for you, and that is the truth. And same thing goes, and I'm not, this ain't about men or women, this is a person. So if a woman does the same thing, that is problematic, and run from her. And if, like, I'm watching Unexpected, and Mia, little girl Mia, her mom is a drug addict. Her mother did not deserve to be in spaces, and they waited for mom to come. And you know what mom did? Disappointed everybody. And she continued to disappoint her daughter. And I do have real beef with the dad. You're not protecting your daughter. You're not helping her in this moment. And I get it. And I was talking to a coworker, and they were sharing that their father raised them as a single father, and the mother was dangerous. And she was allowed to come to all the things. And so she asked, Dad, why did you allow mom to come? And he said, because I didn't want her to not be there, and you think I was the reason. That's what that's about. Instead of being able to have the conversation and go, I am the reason. Daddy can't come, mommy can't come, uncle can't come, auntie can't come. They are not safe for you. That is my job, to keep my children safe, no matter the age, especially if they are not equipped and I have not taught them what that looks like. So I have to teach you, and I have to model what it looks like to set boundaries, even when it's hard, even when there are titles. And I allow my children to come to me and tell me when they have a problem with me. I'm fine with that. I can hear that. That is what safety looks like, not showing up for the camera. I don't want to teach that to my kids. I'm not going to teach that to my kids, and I won't. So it's not just not a thing. So I just wanted to give clarity about that, so that because again, I was not expecting that video, that picture to do what it did. All of this has taken me by surprise. Um and what happens when your worst fear comes true? I have been trying to be in the online creator space for such a long time. Excuse me. I think for years, I had this idea that I wanted to do that. Probably my daughter's 17 years, it was placed on my heart to do this. And a lot of fear and not feeling good enough, worried about what other people were going to think of me, is what kept me from doing it. And so I had to go through what I had to go through. And that was my journey, and to arrive here. And what I know for certain is I'm certain about who I am. I'm certain about my thoughts. Um, and I cannot be shaken no matter what people on the internet say. I don't think people know how jarring that is. So I guess you could say I had a visibility wound, whatever. And I didn't. I didn't want to be seen. I've been signing cards to you from me for such a long time. So, which makes me, and I have speculation as to why I think that I didn't want to be seen, but whatever. And so having people, and it was a lot of people, see you and then tell you that you're wrong. So a lot of people around me told me that I was wrong. I was wrong for what I was doing. I was hurting my daughter. I was being selfish. I'm bitter and all these things, which, baby, let me tell you, I'm so goddamn frustrated with him. I'm so disappointed with him. I'm so angry with him. Yes. All the things. And most of all, he exhausts me. I am exhausted from doing his job and my job. I'm fucking tired. So, yes. And yeah, I am bitter that every time that I go to ask him for help, it's always no. And you know what? He's not even a no. See, I got different versions of baby daddies. And I know what I'll think about it. Let me see. I know what that means. That does mean no. But I can appreciate the ones that just said, no, I'm not doing that. I appreciate that more than the dance. Cause then I know, all right, I'm out here and I'm gonna do it and it's gotta be done. And that's just what it is. But to have someone and let's just really get into it. I felt like he was supposed to be different because we were married. Because I know what it is to have children with men that didn't want children with me. We were just having the good time that we were as teenagers and look, a baby. So I know what that is because I see the way that they show up for their children with the women that they chose to be with. So I got that. But he chose to be with me. And here's the best part. The little one I had for him. I had my tubes tied and got pregnant with her. And I knew I couldn't come home because he wanted another baby. I couldn't come home and go, oh, look at us. We're in love and I'm pregnant and I'm not going to have it. That just wasn't going to fly for my marriage. And I wanted to give him, I loved him. I wanted to give him what it is that he wanted. You want another baby? Come, all right, here we go. So for this baby that you asked for, you wanted this baby, and this is how you do. And it's not about, I don't love my kids. I love my kids. This is the reason why I am the way I am for my kids. And this is the hard part. And this is the hard road that I have to walk. I don't want people to think, I don't want my children to think that mistreatment is okay and that you can still allow them access into your life. You can't. You gonna be safe and you gonna be all in or you're not. It's really gonna be that simple. So having 57,000 people look at you and a lot of them tell you that you are wrong is heavy. But you know what? I made it through. And so if I can make it through, that means, yeah, what's the worst that could happen? You're gonna call me other names and tell me that I'm wrong and all this other stuff. Okay, that's fine. Because at the end of the day, I know I'm right and I know I did what was in the best interest of my daughter. So I'm okay with that. And I did what was in, and I will continue to do what is in the best interest of all of my children as I am teaching all of them about their self worth. I'm teaching all of them about standards. I'm teaching all of them about what bad behavior looks like. Um, and sometimes their mother has bad behavior. And mommy comes back to apologize. When mommy's wrong, she can say so. And mommy can hear your feedback because mom's not always right. So I try to be the safest place I know how to be because nobody taught me that. So I'm on a journey. Sometimes I'm just a girl. And on Saturday, part of that was just me celebrating my baby. And if I could be honest, the wound showed up and I wasn't even aware of it. So I didn't even realize some of the reason why I was fighting was because I had put my hurt on my daughter. And I think that we subconsciously do that. And I don't always think that people know what to do when that happens. I don't think that people know what to do when the pain arrives, when the situation arrives, because they're so used to faking it, because that's what they were taught. And so, yeah, Doing what's in the best interest of yourself will not always be the best, it doesn't always feel good in the moment. But I promise you, you'll look back and you'll appreciate it. So, from the growth of where we were 4 years ago, just letting I did the pictures for all of it, just because that's her father. And maybe she wants him there. And at that point, he had done more. So he should have been there. He had done enough. Yeah, he should be here. But for college, he didn't do enough to be in that space and celebrate. And that is the explanation of that picture. I hope you guys have a great one. Talk to you later. Bye.